Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Toybiz Marvel Legends Series 8. We're going to be having a look today at Iceman. Exclusive to this set, or to this package, you also get a Marvel vs. System trading card. Don't remember those? Yeah, neither do I. You also get, of course, a 32-page comic book and wall-mountable display stand. This figure is super poseable, features 40 points of articulation. Spot wanted to go through a lot of his older collection, pull out some of his Marvel Legends that I just never got around to reviewing, and get those reviewed for you guys now. Iceman really is a really solid looking figure. Despite the fact that there's really not a lot of paint going on him, he still really holds up as a decent figure to this day. On the back of the package, other figures that you can pick up from Series 8, there's Storm, Man-Thing, Captain America, Black Widow, Iceman, Iron Man, and Doc Ock. The read-up says there's only one in every class, a Joker with amazing gifts but lacking the ambition to tap his true potential. One of the Professor Charles Xavier's original students, Bobby Drake, found out that the hard way that he still had a lot to learn. But once he glimpsed the full extent of his mutant power to freeze water molecules, Iceman returned to the X-Men with evolution on his mind. There's also a read-up bar graph stat card there showing you. By the way, his height is 5 foot 8 inches, 145 pounds, eyes brown, hair brown. That's when he's not Iceman. Spot's going to take a break and get this open up, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the Toybiz Marvel Legends Series 8 Iceman. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Just before we have a look at Iceman, just want to show you the comic that comes included with it. This is Marvel Comics Group X-Men number 18 of the original series. And the title indicates if Iceman should fail. I guess the entire fate of the X-Men and the world rests on poor Iceman. And there's Magneto on the front. Classic artwork. I love it. And I'm also glad, too, with a lot of these Toybiz figures, well, we did get comics with it. If you didn't get a chance to get this original issue for whatever price it was back in the day, obviously you're not gonna, you can pay a lot more for it now. These figures gave you a chance, a glimpse into some of the comics that you could have gotten back then. So you can still read it and feel as if you've gone back in time and read these comics right from the stands. So I like that. You will also probably have heard, yes, where Iceman has fallen. He is a nice figure, although he is very spindly. So I would say standing him sometimes, you have to do a little bit of adjustment. I'll get into that for in a second. Let's put Iceman to the side, and let's have a look at the other components that come with this figure. You get yourself a hand, a Sentinel hand, if I'm not mistaken. There are 2 holes on the back that if you wanted to mount this to your wall, you could certainly do that. But again, I really love Toybiz's approach toward not only the figures, but sometimes the stands were as equally cool too. If you really take this along with some of the other figures that we've gotten over the course of the Toybiz era, you really could have built almost a fully destroyed Sentinel. There is a peg hole right there, as he does come with other components as well. There is this stand, kind of this little ice pedestal here, and then also there is a neck that has, again, some really nice sculpting on the ice. You can take this piece and you'll see that underneath there is, if I can get my camera to focus, there is a half moon shape. Lining that up with the half moon that's on the base, and you're just going to peg this into place. And you just have to kind of get it around the ice particles that have been sculpted into the display stand, and you get something that looks like that. Then take an equally shaped half moon shape, and you line that up to the base section here, and you're just going to peg that also into place. Spot took the liberty of doing this on camera just because it is a tight fit. I just want to show you how it goes together, but you get something that looks like that. Really nice, really impressive. There are 2 peg holes, 2 pegs on the stand here that you can take Iceman and find his holes in his feet. And again, just getting this, well actually, you know what? I think you're supposed to like bend the knees. That probably makes more sense. Because really, you're bending the knee and then his arms are going to be in, if I'm not mistaken, in the little sockets here like he's forming the ice. And whenever I see this, it reminds me instantly of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Iceman was quite impressive, actually. I loved him in that show where to turn into Iceman, he would basically just be, I guess, Bobby Drake, and then he'd make like the ice. That's a horrible sound, I know. He'd just make the ice shield, shatter it, and then he was Iceman. But you get something that looks like that. And again, you can put his hands in there, but you know, just to kind of show you guys what it looks like with him on his stand. A really impressive way to display him. Just taking him off, though. The one concern I have with Iceman is really, I guess, the concern with any clear plastic figure is the resilience, the endurance. How long will this figure necessarily last? I mean, so far he's lasted fine. I mean, I've had him sealed in packaging, but because he is a clear plastic, I'd be a little careful when it comes to joints. Really, again, a phenomenal looking piece. Basic in design, yes, he's very thin as well, very thin build. But really, the paint that they put on him really gives him that idea that he's made out of ice. There is his face, kind of like a Mr. Clean kind of look to him. Blue eyes, he's got his mouth open, which is nice. It's a different contrast to just something you would see with like the Silver Surfer. You know, Silver Surfer, his mouth probably would just be closed most of the time. At least Iceman kind of breaks that up a little bit by giving him an open mouth, which I like. He's also got his X-Men emblem on his belt. Would that really be a belt or really just part of his body? I guess more so his body. But amongst the blue fleck and the additional blue wash that they put on the figure, there are like little indications of almost like a glittering that they've put on the legs themselves there. But to get Iceman, you're pretty much expecting that the majority of the figure, there's not going to be a lot going on him, but at least Toybiz went above and beyond and gave extra paint. If they had just painted him just strictly, let's say a white or, you know, like an opaque kind of translucent white, it would have worked, but the extra blue and stuff just gives it a little more love to the figure. And it almost really glows. I know it really doesn't glow. Come on, guys, it doesn't really glow. But it looks like it's pulsating, like in color. Again, though, he is a very thin figure in build, but really fits the character very well for Iceman. Loads of articulation, as you would come to expect with the older Toybiz Marvel Legends figures, in the fact that his head is on a ball joint. It's actually a ball hinge joint in the fact that the head sits on a ball joint and then the ball joint sits on a hinge socket. So it moves the head up and down on the hinge, but then you've got the freedom of the ball joint for the top of the head section there. His shoulders are interesting enough in that they have a hinge out on the shoulder section right there. You can see right where that hinge is working on the shoulder, right there. But then he also has the hinge on the individual shoulder section. So he's got a section here allows you to move. And then on top of that, he's got the ball and hinge socket in the shoulder. So really a lot of flexibility with Iceman. His shoulders, his bicep swivels. He has a double bend at the elbow, swivel in the forearm, hinge in the hand, hinge in the finger section here. He has the swivel in the waist, upper torso crunch. And then as for his legs are a little more of a hassle, being that you have to rotate the leg to depend on where you're swiveling the leg to. The leg moves out, but it won't move forward until you rotate that socket forward, and then that would allow the leg to move forward. So that's the one thing I really don't like with some of these Marvel Legends, is this section right here. Swivel still in the thigh, a really nice double bend at the knee, swivel in the calf, lower leg section, and hinge and rotation via a ball and socket hinge in the leg ankle area and a hinge in the foot. You can also see the transition from how it went, if I can get the camera there, come on there, camera. You can also see where the transition of being clear to more of a painted opaque color or translucent color in the the leg section, which is really nice touch. And also that same idea carries over into the hands. Clear, but then it goes into a more translucent color. I would say, though, despite the fact that the figure is as thin as he is, Toybiz really did put a lot of love into this figure. It's the figure still to this day that I don't think, first of all, I don't think we've really gotten a lot of other Iceman figures, but I think even then, this figure still holds up well to this day. Iceman, I think I'm going to give him a very solid 8.5. Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Toybiz Marvel Legends. I believe this was Series 8. We're having a look today at Iceman. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned. Spot's going to have more Toybiz Marvel Legend videos heading your way, as Spot's going to be going through his archive of some of the collectibles that I haven't reviewed before. Hope you guys will be excited for those. Thanks for watching, as you always do. I'll see you next time.